Hey everyone, I wanted to go ahead and do a video specifically talking about Android market, and a lot of reports that there's a lot of malware on Android market. Um, and to date, I can't say that I've had any particular application that I've downloaded infect my phone with any kind of malicious software. However, I will concede that there are some true statements to the report. There's malware in probably every operating system that's out there. The more popular an operating system is, the more prevalent. There are people out there that want to do a number of things to your devices and everything like that, and they do it for different reasons. Some just do it for clout, to be able to say, hey, I did that. Some have a personal vendetta against a certain company, and they find a weakness in the security of that operating system, and they try to manipulate it and exploit it. And there are those out there that create malicious software to extract money from the devices that are out there, specifically devices like cell phones, tablets, and of course computers. And there are those that go ahead and extract your information to put it into a database and sell to other companies. So those are various reasons why they're out there. Malicious software does not exist just to exist. It doesn't spawn from nowhere. People create those security issues and problems, and they put them out there. So I don't want someone to think that just all of a sudden a good program turns bad. That doesn't happen. That being said, there are a few things you may want to go ahead and pay attention to when you are downloading an application from any source. If that source, of course, will go ahead and show you particular information. One thing you want to go ahead and look at, and we'll pretty much just go to the first application, which happens to be Google Currents. And the thing you want to pay attention to when you're downloading any application from any source, if they have that information, you want to look at the rating that it has, which is here. Now, I typically stay with applications that have 4 stars and above. I don't recall downloading anything that had below 4 stars. Of course, it is of your own personal choice. You can download something that has 1 star if you like. It is completely up to you. That is the beauty of Android, but you do so at your own risk. Now, as I said, you want to go ahead and look at the ratings. You want to also look at when it was last updated. You want to get an application that has the full support of the developer. In this case, of course, is Google, but there are, of course, a lot of developers out there that make other applications. And you want to go ahead and see that, hey, at least they are not abandoning this application. If here it is December 16th and you're looking at the last update a year ago, you have to decide whether or not you want that application on your phone, because apparently it doesn't seem to be any support for that particular application. You want to also look at the requirements, the OS requirements of that application. Some require Android OSs as low as 1.5. Others are all the way up to 2.3. As you can see here, it's 2.2. So you have to take into consideration, even if it allows you to somehow download that application, will it actually perform well on your device? Another thing that you want to go ahead and look at is the overall rating system here. You see it's 5 stars all the way down to 1 star. See the ratio between those two, and then look at why people are saying it's an okay application, it's a great application, it's a terrible application. Read some of these and see if downloading it is something that will work best for you and your device. So those are some of the things that you want to look at, and the last thing you want to look at are the permissions. And permissions are very, very important. You want to see what that device actually has access to, what that application actually has access to on your device. So here with Google, and I wouldn't say, even if it's Android, and Google is pretty much the company that puts out the Android OS, as you can see, it has a fair amount of permissions here. But what you want to look at is what is it trying to get permission to. So, and as you can see, it wants to see your accounts, so it wants to authenticate your credentials, which is fine. It wants to manage the account list. Perhaps you can add and remove, and as you can see, you can add and remove accounts and delete their passwords, which is fine because you want to be able to add a password to it, delete a password, perhaps change it. It wants to go ahead and find your location. As this is a application that reads news, some people might want to go ahead and have news that's relevant to them in their part of the country or in other countries and everything like that. So that sounds just about right. It has full internet access, and of course it needs to pull that news from the internet, so that sounds alright. Storage, and it allows it to change right to the storage. Perhaps it wants to save pictures while you're offline so you can read it when you're not on the internet. Then right sync settings, so it wants to be able to sync information to your phone, which sounds about right. Now it also, make sure you look at the show all here. It also wants to discover known accounts, so it wants to go ahead and be able to access the accounts that you have associated with that phone. Hardware control, the vibrator, it'll go ahead and vibrate the phone, I guess, on certain selections. View network state, so it allows applications to view the state of the network, whether it's up or down or not accessible or something like that. Read sync settings and read sync statistics. So all of these, even though there are a lot of permissions there, they sound about right and on par with what that application does and what it should be allowed to do. Now I'm going to go to an application, and by no means am I saying that this other application is malicious in any way, shape, or form. It has a high rating. It's been downloaded by several other device owners. It seems to be getting generally great reviews. But I'll go ahead and show you why, for me, this application won't be on my device, even though it very well is probably a very good application. And we'll go to the permissions, and this is a game, and games to a certain extent I think only need certain permissions. So this one, if you look at the permissions here, it wants to find your location. And in the wording it actually says malicious applications can use this to determine where you are and may consume additional battery. That's okay. Maybe it's an online game, maybe it pulls statistics from online and everything like that. So, and maybe you can play with people in your particular area. I can't say, I haven't played it, I haven't downloaded it. And course location does approximately the same thing. It will determine approximately where you are. It has full internet access, which a lot of applications do. That doesn't bother me. Where it starts to get fuzzy with me is that it reads contact data. It allows the application to read all of the contact address data stored on your device, and it states that malicious applications can use this to send your data to other people. Now that is fuzzy to me. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it's something to go ahead and consider. It also will read phone state and identity. So this allows the application to access the phone's features. And an application with This permission can determine the phone number and serial number of this phone, whether a call is active, the number that is called is connected, and the like. So it has a lot of control over ingoing and outgoing phone calls, and I don't see why that would be necessary for a game. The usual modified delete USB do not have a problem with. This application can retrieve information about currently and recently running tasks, may allow malicious applications to discover private information about other applications. So it can be doing a little bit of snooping. Again, I cannot say whether or not what that permission is there for. I will not say that it's malicious in any particular way. It's just fuzzy to me. I don't know why a game application would need that information. Okay, changing network connectivity, that's something that's fairly common, so don't have a problem with that. And changing Wi-Fi state is not really necessarily a problem with me. We'll go to show all and look at that. It's another laundry list. This seems like it has more permissions than a Google application. So this will also allow an application to get the list of contacts known by the device. I don't want it snooping on me. I certainly don't want it snooping on people that I know and have in my contacts. The control vibrator, that's standard, no issue there. Okay. This also can access extra location provider commands. Malicious applications could use this to interfere with the operation of the GPS or other location sources. Now, I should be able to go ahead and have my GPS on or not, regardless of this application. So that again is fuzzy to me. It can also allow the application to accept cloud to device messages sent by the application service. Using this service will incur data uses. Malicious applications may cause excessive data usage. Again, that is way overboard for me. And of course, Wi-Fi state and allows application to view the state of all networks. It's something standard. But there are like 2 or 3 of these permissions that make this a no deal for me. Now, of course, other people have put this on there. They don't say anything or in their reviews of there being some issue, them seeing their phone bills and something being on their phone bill that they didn't recognize. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that this is a malicious program whatsoever. All I'm saying is look at these permissions and get into a comfort zone of these applications that you feel should have certain permissions, need certain permissions, and those that do not. And if permissions are showing up in applications that in your mind should have no business with that kind of permission, do not install it on your device. So that's pretty much my take on it. If any of you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I want to go ahead and state again that I have no personal issue against this application that I am showing. It looks to be something that a lot of people like. I'm not condoning installing it or not installing it. All I'm giving is my personal opinion. So any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and I will get back with you as soon as I can. Until then, you all take care.